Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is It Takes Two. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss it with me, I was going to say as always, because again, I'm used to trio, but it's not trio today. Casey Wellman is back.
I'll never be him, but I'm glad to be here.
Delco's own.
Born and raised.
It's easy to give somebody the moniker of Delco's own or Delaware counties when they're from here. It's like, yeah, it works. Delco Nerd Network, you know.
It's safe. It's not wrong. Yeah.
And Trio's the only person I've developed a nickname for. Actually, no. Penza is the cream to DNN's Oreo. Because he was in the middle of us once, and I just was like, the cream to our Oreo. And he was just like, no. Yeah, I'm like, it's stuck.
I can see me like, okay.
It's stuck.
What's Trio's nickname?
The triple threat.
The triple threat?
Yeah, Trio.
Okay. A little play on his God-given name. And,
yeah.
Okay,
all right, Case. Threat. So, you had the pleasure to experience It Takes Two with me.
With you or playing the game? What was the pleasure?
With me.
That's where you say yes. Cover your bets, but yeah.
So what did you think, man? How did you, and especially as somebody who we also played A Way Out together, so just for the context of that as well. We have played Joseph Ferris's games.
Yeah. I think macroscopically, like just bird's eye view, definite upgrade, which we've talked about, I'm sure we'll talk about, from A Way Out.
Absolutely.
A definite, like, technical storytelling, character development, like everything about it was more fleshed out. Beautiful game, and I played it on the Xbox One.
Yeah, I played it on the Series X.
So overall, just I like the direction that I don't even know the production company.
Hazelight.
I like the direction they're headed in. I mean, not that they're married to anything, but just like it's promising. Like during this whole crazy time of like in between consoles, kind of I feel like they're straddling longer than they wanted to, given like the launch of these next gen consoles. I think they did a good job of making it. I didn't feel like I missed out on anything not playing it next gen.
Right.
So I think it was like it was accessible to both generations, and the fact that we could play it together was really cool.
Right. If that was with the 360 to 1, that wouldn't have happened.
Right. No chance. No.
Yeah. It literally wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So
my like red ring would have kicked in or something. But yeah, I thought it was a great game, especially when compared to the A Way Out. I really liked it, and I'd probably be interested to get other people's point of view, like I guess heavy quickly, like not like a divorced home or anything. I thought it was like a really relatable story, despite like it was cool.
Somebody with divorced parents, yes.
Yeah,
it's a very like, okay, that's an interesting story to tackle.
Yeah. So I thought going into it, I was like, I hope it resonates with me how they intended, or even if it's not how they intended, I just hope that I can relate to it. But I think they did a good job of, even though some elements progressed really quickly, especially if we'd sat down and like played it out in a weekend. Like we've spaced it out, so I feel like you had time
we
to
played it
digest
over
parts.
literally 2 months. It took us 2 months to play through it, and that's just because of like schedules.
What was it, release until
Saturday?
When did we finish?
We finished on Sunday. It came out at the end of March.
We finished yesterday?
Yes.
Saturday? No way.
No. Sunday. Yeah.
I don't think it was Sunday.
Are
we
you
didn't
sure?
play yesterday. I did. Yeah, I was like outside.
It was Saturday.
I got sunburned. There's no way I was
Saturday.
playing yesterday.
It was Saturday.
Yeah. But yeah, from release until Saturday, we played in.
Yeah, which was what
we do, like a couple hours, a couple of 1 hour sessions, a couple like
1 hour, 2 hour. Yeah, I let me comment real quick. I guess while we're talking about the length, I feel like this game is definitely, it's long. Could you sit down and finish it in one session? Sure, but like I definitely don't think you should like do it in one session. It's a long game. It's like a 6 to 8 hour game, and it depends. I think one of the things you pointed out, which was maybe not super apparent, but it made a lot of sense because we were playing, and we're both gamers. We understand games. And you were saying if I was playing this with Marissa, it would be like a slog because Marissa doesn't understand games. And this game is very much made for anyone of any shape. I was going to say shape, size, whatever, gender, whatever the fuck to play. A kid can play with an adult.
For sure.
Two adults could play together. A gamer with a non-gamer. Like, that's who this game is definitely made for.
Very graspable.
And you made the comment. It's like, yeah, if I was playing with this Marissa, it might, you were saying how we would go spells without talking, and we would, we know what to do. Like, we don't really need to converse about the gameplay per se. Like, we get what to do. And it's a very simple game, but still, for somebody who's not a gamer, like, getting into a game like this, and it is kind of like a spectacle for sure. It's not like very like chill, even though it is chill. It's there's a lot going on. Like, there's a lot to look at and see and do. It's
casual but involved. Like, you can take it as, I'm just here to jump around, do crazy moves, play with fun weapons, and like solve some puzzles. Or you can be like, holy shit, look at that stack of books that goes all the way up to the ceiling where I can get on a Christmas tree light and grind around the whole thing and then jump down into like the level designs.
The level design and the amount of environments that are just so unique and like bring so much life to this game is unreal. The team who like sat down and like planned all these environments out, all these intricacies that Casey was talking about. And I remember how we were playing, we were like, it's fun to explore this game because you're like naturally rewarded for doing so. It's not even like you're getting items, like you're just finding things. And like, I guess like really the only thing you get is an achievement with some things, but like generally you're just finding like cool things that are in the levels, and A Way Out doesn't really do like any of this. A Way Out is like much more game. I want to say gamey, but I think that's like not a good way to even put it. It's just a lot more simpler and a lot more like it's simpler, but like, what am I trying to say?
Would you say that it's like they put the activities they think a game should have in it, not ones that naturally go with the game? Like, they gave you things to look for that you didn't have to, like when you're out of the prison and you're finding like collectibles in places where it's like, I don't care that this house I'm hiding over.
Very gamey.
Very
Very
there
Last
should be
of Us.
collectibles. There should be achievement. I'm glad you said that. When you were trying to think how to say it, I was like Last of Us. Where like,
when you walk out the building and you find a card and whatever.
Yeah, or a piece of paper with a note on it that's like, honey, I can't hang around any longer. Like, they're at the door. I need to go. I love you. Like that. And you're like, it adds to like the world of the game, but it's like, it works for Last of Us, but it didn't translate as much for me into A Way Out.
Right, and It Takes Two has none of that. It has mini games, and if you miss them, you miss them. It's fine. Like,
no penalty.
Yeah, they have stuff that like it intrigues you naturally, rather than like, oh, let's get all the collectibles. It's like, oh no, let's just like explore the level and like see what's going on with this environment, whether we're in the tree or we're in the house in the attic or in Rose's room, and So I real quick, for those who haven't played this game is about like two parents getting a divorce and their daughter. So it's Cody and May, and then their daughter's name is Rose. And Rose kind of, you don't really find out to the end, spoilers, that she like kind of blames herself for it, and her parents essentially like get trapped as like little dolls, and they have to figure their shit out in order to go back to their bodies under Dr. Hakim.
Hakim is a book of love.
Yeah. I really liked that character. It's funny, like I was saying, he's so stereotypical, like with his like, just like stereotypical like Mexican accent, and just like the character is just like a sort of a stereotype, but like it works. It's really funny. He's really like cheeky and sometimes like kind of adult. Sometimes he's just like, a wacko.
Very romanticized. Like, whatever he is, he's it to the fullest.
It's about
full
love.
Body, emotional, I agree. Very a good way to address. He was a good way to address heavy topics in a lighthearted way, like an accessible way that you weren't like bogged down by the weight of what you're talking about, but you could also comprehend like the serious tones that went well with his like joking and like making light of.
Right, and there is some moments that get a little heavy, but like not heavy enough that we're like, oh, a kid wouldn't understand this. Like, I feel like if a kid sits down and play this, like they understand like from a surface level. But then again, like you're saying, there's these lighthearted tones that kind of like don't. it's not super depressing the whole time. And going back to one of the things you said, you said it's relatable. If you're in a relationship, this game is probably much more interesting, especially if you're playing with your partner or your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whatever. Like it's
you covered your bases. You're good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but like you don't even have to be married to a person, right?
Sure.
It would just like be playing with somebody you're in a relationship with would be funny because you're probably just sitting here comparing yourselves to what you're playing.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Like, I'd offered like once or twice. I was like, I'll buy it. Gooch paid for it. Shout out to Gooch. No, I was like, I'll buy it if you want to play it. To Marissa.
Speaking of that, though.
More props.
Casey,
to them.
no. Casey brought up a good point. If one person has to buy it and you can invite another friend to play it for free, you just have to download it. Yeah. So it is accessible in that way where it's like, hey, I'm going to buy this game. Like you don't need another friend to spend another $40. There's a friend pass and you can play with a friend that way, which is a great way to do these games because you can only play co-op and it's meant to be play co-op. So they're incentivizing you to do that by only having you buy one copy. So kind of give props to them because they didn't need to do that at all.
And they did that before it was like
the way out. They did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like before it was like COVID couch play, you know, like remote couch play. Like they were doing that because they wanted to, and they thought that was the way that their games were meant to be played, and they weren't going to make you convince someone else to buy it. They were like, just get someone to play with you. They'll just download it. We'll give it to that person. Who cares? You paid us. That's good. Like, so I thought that was like really cool that there was no pressure of social distancing, quarantine, none of that. But like, it was welcome, I'm sure, during this time for people who weren't familiar with A Way Out, and that you could already do that and play a game like that, and only one person would have to pay. I think I just, like you said, more power to them. All the props to them as well. They did a good job of making it a fun, get your friend involved, even if they're not sold on it. We'll sell you on it.
Yeah, or whoever's in your house, right?
Yeah,
like your girlfriend who probably isn't a gamer, but hey, look at this. You show them it, and like, I was kind of comparing that and A Way Out, and it's like, imagine showing your girlfriend A Way Out and It Takes Two. I think it's like, it's clearly It Takes Two. It's just like the more appealing game, one from like, I mean, I don't think it's a physical title, but anyway. No, it's probably not. It's probably only a digital title. But like, show them like, oh, this is the cover art. It's like much more appealing looking. It's colorful. It's friendly. Whereas A Way Out is like, you know, two gruff older men escaping prison. Yeah. Like it's not as approachable as It Takes Two. Where like I was talking to Marissa at your brother's wedding, and she was like, oh, like is it a kid's game? And I'm like, no, but I would understand why you would say that because it kind of looks like it. I'm like, it's you know, it's about divorce. Like, I don't know if you picked that up when you were watching us play, but like, yeah, it's like, it's, you know, it's approachable. Like it's meant for like somebody like you to be interested in and play. Like it's not necessarily just supposed to be like a, you know, a gamer's game.
Yeah. Not a conventional game for sure. It's meant for that co-op shared experience, like get more people involved. And it's funny, like she'll watch me play a lot of stuff if she, you know, especially if it's like the Saturday morning, we're just like hanging out. She's like in and out of sleep. I'm playing whatever I'm playing. But like, I would like look over and she might be on her phone, but like she'd be like watching us play, like interested in it. And like you would invite me or something, and we'd be watching something. She'd be like, "You can play if you want," and I'm like, "Really?" But yeah, like
full body ship, really?
Like the session we finished, like if we landed on a date Saturday when we finished, I'll say I was like putting on Invincible to start that, and she was like about to fall asleep, and she was like, "You can play if you want," and I was like, "All right," and like threw It Takes Two on, and I look over at one point, and she's like ready to fall asleep, but she was like watching us play, and I was like, "Man, it's cool. Like it holds interest for people who have no vested interest in it. Like, she's not playing, she's not really paying attention to the story, but she's like taken in by, like you said, the colors. It's vibrant. It draws your attention, and it holds it. I found like when playing it. So like, I wasn't. Some of our longer stretches, just like attention span. Like I might find myself like check my phone, but like for the most part, like I was engaged when we were playing. I was trying to like keep up the story.
Yeah, and the story's not much to follow. Like essentially you're just progressing through this couple's relationship and finding like what Cody likes and what May likes and what the issue is with May and what the issue is with Cody. And you kind of find out that May is like She's definitely the breadwinner, right? She goes to work. She's paying the. I don't even think Cody has a job. He just gardened it. He was a stay-at-home dad, right? I'm
trying to remember if he had like some gig where he worked at home.
I think he just gardened at home.
Like I could have seen him being like the artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was like the handy dude, and the mom she was at work all the time, never home.
Was she like a lawyer or something?
I don't know. I don't think they say specifically what she did, but she like office job.
It starts, she's like going in Saturday to work or something. And he's like, "You have to work?" And she's like, "That's how we put food on the table, Cody." Something like that, like with her accent. But yeah, it was very, very much so how you described it. Like, she's a breadwinner. He's the stay-at-home dad. Like, they pit them as like the fun-loving dad, or the dad who gets to have fun, and the mom who like has to be serious and
making money.
Yeah, like it's like a there's definitely clear drawn roles. Yeah,
but the gender roles are kind of swapped a little bit, which I think is fine.
Yeah, it was an interesting take. Like, and I remember,
and she's British and he's American, which was even more interesting.
I remember when we started, when you picked Cody,
non-accented,
and I was
be Canadian.
Yeah, true.
Well, we don't know.
Don't bother me none. He'd be talking like that or something. When you picked Cody and I was May, I remember in the beginning, like, she seemed like such a bitch. I was almost like mad to play as her because like some of the stuff she would say, I'm like, I wouldn't say that, but like that's what you're playing. Some games are made to like the characters' decisions and what they say, what they do, how they act are your choices, and some games are you're playing this out. You're not in control of like the dialogue. Right. You'll do the gameplay and like the flipping and jumping through books and all that stuff. But like, I like that at a certain point I had to kind of accept
who you were playing.
I'm doing the gameplay, but yeah, I had to accept that like the character of May there's pre-existing stuff going on.
You have no say in what this character says.
You're popping into a marriage that's however far into it. Like they have a kid who's what, she's 10, you know?
Probably,
like,
not double digits, I would imagine.
So it's funny, like, for me, you had to, like, let go of some control for a little bit and just be like, all right, I'm experiencing it as a game. It was an experiential game, not like a, like an RPG or something where you determine, like, I'm going to go fuck everything up or I'm going to be the good guy. Like, it was just, you are your character. You do the fun gameplay parts of it, but then otherwise you get to... I didn't feel invested in, like, eventually I didn't feel invested in, like, a cutscene, like, oh, this is me talking like that. I'm like, oh, this is the game telling me the story it wants to tell me. I don't know if that makes much sense.
No, it makes total sense, because, like, I think that's pretty easy for me. Like, I'm playing Mass Effect right now. Mass Effect is I am Commander Shepard. Shepard does what I do and says what I say. Yeah. He's not determined. I determine him.
When you say I am Commander Shepard, you mean one and the same, not I'm playing his story. It's you're dictating
yeah, I'm
his
saying
story.
I am Commander Shepard.
Right,
he is
right.
Yeah, I'm dictating who he likes, who he doesn't like.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. Whereas like a game like God of War, like you're not determining what Kratos does or says. Like he does his own
Even
thing.
in combat, he says stuff that you're like, whoa, shit, that's true to Kratos.
Yeah. And this is kind of like the same way. Like you're right, and like May is kind of a bitch in the beginning. Like she's definitely painted out to be a little bit bitchy, and I think that's the point. And Cody is supposed to be like, hey, I'm the fun dad. And
she's
like,
the hard ass. He's the I can take it easy guy.
Right, and
good cop,
he even talks about that. Like Rose is definitely a little spoiled. She has a shit ton of toys, and they bring it up that like, oh, like, yeah, I bought her this and that and this, and like you see a lot of her toys. Some of them you're fucking killing, and others you're fighting, like Moon Baboon and the fucking elephant, dude. The elephant scene is probably like, I was like, this is like horrible. You are ripping this elephant apart, and it's so nice, and like everything's like really cutesy. Like
Delfino Plaza.
And even like the bees and like the squirrels that are like an army. Like everything has so much like character. Everything is so like alive and so like unique and like oh, this is really cool. Like everything that is in the game is designed where I'm like, that's cool. Like nothing was like, this is boring.
Nothing's a drone or just like a placeholder. It's got
a lot of
meat to it. Like, where you're
a lot of like artistic meat.
Yes. Yeah. But like total, like if you missed it, you don't miss anything. But it's the details that when you catch them, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like that they did that.
Is there anything you didn't like per se? I feel like I have one thing that stuck out to me that I was like, that could have been better, this part.
Anything I didn't like? What were you thinking? Nothing comes to mind immediately, but I'll be
So
thinking
the
about it.
last part of the game, when May, the singing part, I was expecting a little bit more in that like last song. It's like a big build up, right? They like you do like 4 or 5 things to build up. So May's passion is singing. She doesn't sing anymore. And like the last 2 stages are like Cody's passion and May's passion. What was Cody's passion again?
Shit.
Was it the garden? Yeah, it was the garden.
He likes to garden. That's when you spend the time out there with the squirrels and stuff, right?
No, the squirrels are in the beginning when they're getting back to the house.
Dude,
The
see, that's
garden
the
is
problem
with
playing over as many sessions. As
the
we did,
garden
man.
was with the plant boss at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the plant that he named.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, May's passion is singing, and that's the last part of it. And like I was kind of expecting her to like break into some like original quick song,
Number,
and she like didn't do that. And I was like, I feel like that would have been a lot more impactful if she actually like she just like hummed a few bars essentially. And I was like, this would have been much more impactful if she actually like sung like. I understand probably maybe it's like, okay, like we don't have time to write a song for this. Like maybe it was time constraints and they cut it.
Sure.
Like it could have that could have something that easily happened. But I was like, yeah, maybe if she actually like sung a song, I would have been like a little more into it.
Sure.
And like, especially since that was like our last session was kind of like probably our shortest. It was quick.
Yeah.
We probably only played for like maybe like 30, 40 minutes, if that.
Yeah, definitely a shorter one. But I know what you mean. It didn't have the oomph that I thought her. And it could have been that if we had added the extra 40 minutes on from whatever we ended the last session,
we did. We
ridden
kind of
into
ended
it.
abruptly the last time we played.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were like, we could have. And I even said, I'm like, we could have finished if we didn't have that. We were like disconnecting from servers.
Yeah, I forgot you did comment. You were like, oh shit, we would have been. Yeah, what was it? We were trying to play the mini game, and
and it kept disconnecting us.
Yeah.
And I think like it was like kind of late, and you're like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm like, fine.
Yeah, I remember being like, if this doesn't work, I'm getting off, and it did not work. I was like, I gotta go, dude.
Yeah, but like that's kind of the only negative thing. I think maybe a nitpick is like the length. I felt like it was definitely long. Like I always have an issue in a game where I'm like kind of gauging. I'm like, how much do we have left? And I'm just kind of curious. I'm like, oh, this game isn't over. Like not not that I was like I wanted it to be over, and I was like, oh, this game is way too long.
Right.
But it just seemed like I couldn't gauge the pacing.
Right.
The pacing just seemed weird in how they were telling the story because I couldn't tell where we were towards the end goal. Right.
I think in part that was our play style too. Like
it could have something to do
it wasn't
with it.
uniform. Like we'll play a whole. If we had known it was gonna be like quarters for like the pieces of the letter or whatever. If we had done it like that, or maybe fifths, like there's the section before you started and then whatever. Yeah. But if we'd been like, all right, we'll do it in 4 sessions or 5 sessions instead of like, what do we do, 8 or 9? Like,
no, it wasn't that much.
You don't
maybe
think
like
so?
6.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like we played like so many hour-ish sessions and then like only a couple like 2+ hour sessions. Like
I feel like we played at least 6 times.
That's what I mean. Definitely 6. I'm
like
saying
8.
we probably did like 8 or 9. It would be my guess. So I don't know if we could even look at that, but
yeah, but through my achievements, I probably could.
Oh yeah, by like the dates you got them and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess our play style kind of made it seem like there was a pacing issue, in my opinion. But I would have to play it through the otherwise, like another way, to know if like maybe if we did it in 4 different sessions, like a Saturday, a Sunday, and then like Saturday and Sunday, or like Saturday, Sunday, like 4 days in a row of like we'll do this part, finish.
Yeah.
But there were certain points where I was like, this seems like a wrap up, and then Dr. Hakeem would show up and he'd be like, you have found your second piece of the letter or whatever, and it's like there's like, 2 more.
2 more, yeah. It's like what? Yeah. And even the characters are like, what more? And it's just like
it was almost like they kept thinking it was gonna end, so I kept thinking it was gonna end. Like they would just be like, oh, we're like almost back to.
But it is really you could probably get 2 playthroughs out of this game just playing the different characters, but this definitely is like a one-time through kind of thing, unless you like want to play it with somebody else, or maybe it's like, oh, let's switch characters and play it again. Like it's definitely like a one-time through. Like I actually got all the achievements today. I was messing around and
Did you do add a controller and just run around together?
Yeah.
So scoundrel.
Yeah, so
You
the achievements are pretty
cheat.
easy, but like, yeah, Casey was, I wasn't gonna ask him like come do achievements with me. I was just like, I'll just plug in a controller.
I won't say I wouldn't do it, but I'm glad you did it that way.
I just plugged in a controller and kind of managed it. It wasn't that bad, but it was a little annoying, but it was what it is.
What were you missing? Mini games?
Just some stuff we missed and some like little explorable things that we missed and then some mini games. We only missed 4 mini games. We pretty much got them all.
So since I didn't have achievements coming up, since disclaimer, if you don't buy it, you don't get the achievements. If that matters to you, does not to me. The exploration based stuff that we missed. What's an example of something you had to do by yourself that we just didn't happen upon? Non-mini game.
So remember when we got to that underwater part that we had to
which was really cool, jumping out from like the oxygenated spaces out into the
water.
Yeah.
Stuff, remember when you could like go up and there was like a racetrack? There was like a pirate ship kind of off in the distance, and like in the pirate ship was like pirate treasure, and you opened it and you get a pirate hat. Like that was one.
To wear for the rest of the game, or
I don't know if it was on the rest of the game. Probably.
Did
not,
we come across a part where we were wearing stuff, or am I thinking of another game?
I think we may have.
Like hats. I feel like I definitely
That's in
played...
Last of Us.
No. I'm thinking.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
The Halloween store. There's a couple points
in Left Behind. Yes, but then in Last of Us, when you're playing as Ellie in the museum, there's hats.
I'm sure I probably did that. I'm a whore when it comes to exploring in those games. Like it's terrible. I will walk into every corner and not even find everything. I'll just blow by stuff. But I'm just like I have a problem with games like in general where they're search based, like finding things in the world.
Like Gears.
I'll walk
Gears 5, man.
Dude, I'll walk. That's kind
of
why I couldn't stand it in a way. Like getting a little off topic real quick, but like I just
that's okay.
I'll walk into like an area and I'm like, all right, there's corners here. I like check I'm like
left to right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm like checking corners.
That's how I play.
I'll like scan over here, and then I might be like, is it worth going back here? Or should I continue my scan over to this area? Okay, I'm gonna keep going there, and then I'll cover every fucking inch.
When it comes to open world games that are like in a house, I will go left to right. Oh, that's how.
You have a clockwise system of doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's just easier to kind of have a system to do things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? So is the mini games, the pirate ship, anything else exploration based, or was it all mini games otherwise?
Like remember the dinosaur part?
Yeah.
So apparently, if I lowered my head enough, I could just eat you.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I lowered my head level with the dinosaur, and I could have just eaten you. And I'm like, I was like, I'm surprised I didn't notice.
Yeah,
that.
We do that. Like we would just drop doors on each other. I think you would have tried to eat the dinosaur.
Yeah, and the game is really fun from that perspective too. Like you just fucking around with each other, and like you can eat. There's parts where like it's like, oh, you could totally just kill.
Yeah, even if it's on like platforms and it's like, oh yeah, better hit this one, drop the platform, stupid shit like that, like which is fun because you weren't like mad because there's really no penalty for dying if it's not the two of you at the same time.
Yeah, and if you die during a boss fight, you just kind of restart. How did you like the boss fights, by the way?
They were good. They were that's like a part that really I think lends to the idea that it's for anybody because there was nothing that did we struggle with anything?
This wasn't
really?
Gears 4 Act 1 Chapter 5.
Keep them away from the door.
Keep them away from the door. No. Yeah. Dude, I'll never forget that. Days.
You didn't have to bring that
Days.
up.
It took us. I remember when we finished it on like a snow day. We both had off from class. And I was like, dude, let's do it. And
that was the best and the worst. I would give anything to go back to that, but like just going to school, going to the gym.
Oh, dude, we played Gears like second week of pandemic. We played through like entire Gears 5 campaign in a weekend, pretty much. Remember
that? The three of us, me, you, and Trio?
No, it was just me and you.
I was going to say because we tried to start it. With
and we picked up from that save, and I was like, I want to go back and do the collectibles.
And I was like, I just need to play it. So
and you were just like,
or did I beat it solo and then just agree to go? I can't even remember.
No, I think you got to like the last act. And you didn't finish the last act, and I was like, "Let's just play." And you're like, "Fine." So yeah, we were doing collectibles.
No, I think we just caught up and passed my save. Like not, I didn't make it that far, but I got
to replay Gears 5. So if you want to replay it, first
no thanks.
I got to play as Batista as Marcus, and like some other shit. But I was just like, I'll get.
Did you watch Army of the Dead?
You did.
You did. Okay, yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, when we're done.
The whatchamacallit?
We're gonna review that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was pretty good.
Wednesday.
I enjoyed it. Nice. Who you having on for that?
Just Trio.
Oh, cool. He already watched it.
We watched it together.
Oh, cool. Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
we
nice.
we
Here
hung
or
out.
like remote.
No. I went to his house on Saturday.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. But really, I am excited to see what Hazelight does next. I think It Takes Two is like they found what works for this genre. They did it right. I've heard a lot of people rant and rave about it. I feel like A Way Out, people liked it, but like this game is hitting different for people. I think a lot of people are really liking It Takes Two. I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but the people I know who've played it are like, this is excellent.
So that's like the luxury of being
I could see you getting a game award.
I was gonna say not a closet gamer, but like I don't have many conversations about this in like my normal life, you know. So I'm like, so it's funny. Like I don't know anything about the hype about it. I just knew that I liked it.
There really wasn't hype about it, but I think once people picked it up, they were like, "This is better than A Way Out," and I think that was the conversation with like they outdid themselves. They did good.
It was a certain like proving ground for them where they were like, yeah, we get it. Like the two brothers is like a similar thing.
I was just gonna say, maybe we can go back and play that together. I bought it recently. It was like $3, but
Do you need the?
I think
I need a version, or is it the same thing like a friend?
No, I think you might need a copy,
okay.
and I think you can play it alone. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can.
I'll look at it because I don't know any. I know like I could see the artwork and be like, oh, that's that game, but I don't know anything about like
Brothers:
gameplay,
A Tale of Two Sons. Yeah, that's what it's called.
I think they built on that in A Way Out, and they were like, there's something here we haven't struck gold yet, but like it's here and we're digging for it, and I think they may have found it with this game. Like It Takes Two was a good it seems like they took the lessons that they learned in either without playing the two brothers. It took whatever lessons they learned from A Way Out, and I'm assuming from the first game, and they listened and they worked it into the new game, and they did a phenomenal job. Like overall, I think to your point, I think it does have contention, promise for Game of the Year or awards in general. Like
I don't think Game of the Year. Don't push it.
Right. But
I don't think it's
I really don't know what else came out or is coming out that
Returnal's come out.
Hitman
3.
But you gotta look. I didn't even know. I forgot Hitman.
Mass Effect's not gonna be up for awards. Resident Evil 8 is probably gonna be a Game of the Year contender.
How about is it Godfall up there?
Yeah, God, I platinumed it.
Did you hate that game? Is that the one?
No, I hated certain aspects of Godfall, but Godfall's combat is really good.
Oh, really?
Really good. Yeah, I think that's where the game excels is its art style and its look and its gameplay. The story sucks though.
What's it akin to? Gameplay, like combat style. What's
God of War.
Really?
Yeah,
that's high praise in my.
But I wouldn't say go buy it to have fun fighting. Like maybe if it's $10, sure, but like it's not worth.
I wouldn't like it. That
I think
much,
the $60 I paid. Like even Returnal. Getting off topic, we're gonna review.
Yeah.
I'm gonna review that too. Returnal, I don't think is worth the $70. It's
Wow.
not.
Is it $70 base?
Mm-hmm.
Is that PS5 across the board?
That's next gen.
Fuck. No, I don't. I every day goes by and I'm like, I don't need it yet. I don't. I need it. I need it to be available and I need it to be cheaper. Is what I need it. Like it's crazy. It's such an expensive fucking hobby that I love. I was looking at the controllers. The black DualSense controller.
Was it 80?
I think it was 70.
Okay, I was like, don't say 90.
Same as the white, but then they had a red or a pink
the
or
red
something variant that was like 75. It was $5, $6 more.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm
definitely once real off topic. Once Xbox comes back with Design Labs, you better fucking believe.
Dude, I'm hesitant on them just because I don't think, and this is me just grasping at straws. I think because they're not mass produced in like an established, well done
they fall
assembly line. I think there's the more detail you need to put into something, I feel like the more delicate it is. So I had a Design Lab controller that Marissa got me that I loved. It was awesome, dope controller, but the joysticks went on it real quick, a bumper and a button. Like
see, and I'm interested to see when this is so off topic, when Design Labs comes back and maybe they've gotten the process better because Design Labs hasn't been open for maybe like 8 months. They closed it before next gen started.
Xbox One as well.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't order one. Period.
Because they're gonna redo the system for Series X. They're gonna do that controller.
Okay.
And that controller already has the bumps on it, so they're probably not going to have that as a feature. They're probably just they're revamping it totally.
It's interesting how similar, like
That
First time I picked up the DualSense, this one was this DualShock 5.
No, it's what? Wait, that's the DualSense.
Oh wait, DualSense is the new DualShock,
PlayStation
right?
5.
Like
yeah.
it's the next gen.
The DualShock 5.
Was it DualSense for PS4 or was it
DualShock 4?
And then it became the DualSense. Just DualSense, not
just
5.
DualSense.
Okay, yeah, okay. The DualSense, first time I picked it up was when we were here for Snyder Cut. That feels different than a PlayStation 4 controller.
Yeah, the PlayStation 4 controllers are
it's good, but it's wonky when you hold that. It makes
right.
That makes it. It sounds dumb.
I mean, it's more in line with the Xbox.
I always hear Joe Rogan say Teslas make other cars seem stupid. That controller makes other controllers seem stupid.
Other PlayStation controllers.
Yeah. And then the Series X controller is the same thing.
Right. It's a good controller.
In a good way.
They don't need to change what's
ain't broke.
Right.
It ain't broke. Yeah. With Connor, because Connor has his, and he's actually got the Elite controller, 2, the new Elite controller, and the other one. He's such an asshole.
Yeah.
He's got them both.
Good for him, man.
Yeah. Dude, and for the amount of time that he dumps into like duty and stuff like that, he uses the bumpers. Not like I'll pick the controller up to just do something.
I'm surprised he's as into it as he is, because I think when I was with him, I think when he was living in Phoenixville, I was like, I'm surprised you got this. This doesn't seem like a you move, but like I'm glad I'm glad for some reason. I'm happy for
it.
Dude,
he's been about that, like, enjoy this. Like when we were little, he had the like the speaker chair that you had.
I had it.
Like he got that because it's like it's like a cool thing, and it makes you enjoy it that much more. Like so, like it does, but doesn't. Oh my god, we had that thing forever, and it was like all it would do was sit up. Like you couldn't play anything out of it. If you try to close it, it would like wham, like slam shut. Like there's no safety about it.
The game chair, I remember that was the thing.
But he like stuff like that. He like enjoys the fun stuff of that. Like so like getting that controller almost didn't surprise me because it's like an enhancement on what he already likes doing, and it's like, oh, this can make duty more fun, which is all he plays. So like didn't shock me when I thought about it. But like I remember he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. Like, you're gonna spend $150 on a controller.
And he said, yeah.
He's like, yeah, twice. So he got he got a new one.
Xbox has him, man.
Yeah, he's an Xbox tour for sure.
No, I mean it's not a bad thing.
No,
I didn't mean it in a bad
way. He probably. I would say it if he was here. No,
yeah,
he's never gonna say it, but he's not. I don't think he's ever, not ever, but I couldn't tell you if he's played a PlayStation 4.
I don't think
ever. Like,
unless
it was like in school,
college
like
friends.
You know, like I couldn't even guess the last time I would bet he had a PlayStation controller in his hand or something like that. Like he's just been Xbox since we got the 360. Probably hasn't been PlayStation since PS2, and barely at that. So it's funny, like the difference. Whereas me and Jameson have had
both.
Yeah, like, well, actually, that's not even true. Jamer,
I was like, Jay doesn't have
Jamer only really will play. Like, I will just be like, dude, I got this game. Like, God of War came out, Last of Us came out. Like, I'm like, dude, anytime I'm not there, go play it. Like, it's in my room, but I'm like, dude, you gotta play it. He played some of God of War, some of Last of Us, some of Spider-Man, some of, I don't think he's like beaten anything. Some of Red Dead, I think he tried. Not Red Dead, sorry, that was on Xbox. What the fuck?
Anyway, that's good.
Something else. No, there was something that I was like surprised that he tried. That was, zombie game that I played. Nobody else played.
Oh, Days Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah, holy shit, great game that I forgot. That was free. Did you get that?
Nah. Well, yeah, I did.
You're just not gonna play it ever.
No.
Yeah.
Don't plan on it.
Just in case.
Just gotta get it though.
Fun game.
Maybe.
Fun game. There's probably some good updates out that have happened. Like it was a little buggy. So again, so off topic. Sorry, but like little buggy, but very enjoyable. Nothing that I was ever like, are you kidding me? This game is trash.
Yeah,
now.
it was either middle. A lot of people were in the middle of the road on it, and then or just didn't like it at all. It was very like, no, it wasn't really divisive. It was like very just like,
it was
shit.
So long.
Yeah, that was the big complaint. Long. I remember it's just like, dude, this game doesn't fucking end. But like, guess what? Valhalla and Odyssey, AC games have the same complaint. It's just like these games are way too big and way too long.
One of those games where the map just doesn't stop growing, and you're like, I need to do so much.
Now
here.
that like, if I would go play Odyssey, one thing I would
Don't.
It would take Assassin's Creed would have to get back on track for me to go back and play them, because I would play through the ones I haven't played, but
Origin's the last one.
I would look forward to it, one, because I'd be playing like the ultimate edition of the game, like everything's out, and so
you would plat it or I guess 100% it.
Since I've been playing on Xbox. But anyway, obviously from our It Takes Two talk, you should definitely pick it up, play it with a friend.
Absolutely.
somebody in your relationship with, maybe your child if you have one.
Yeah,
it's a fun game.
They're fun for
you and
play.
the family.
yeah, for you and the family. Yep.
All right. So if you've been watching us live on twitch.tv, we thank you for joining us. You can find this podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/Delco Nerd Network, as well as podcast services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You know, if you listen to it, we're most likely on it. Just search Delco Nerd Network. You can find us at Facebook at facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network, on Instagram and Twitter at Delco Nerds. You can find all this information at our website, www.delconerdnetwork.com. And while you're there, join our Discord. Our Discord server. Casey's in it. You know, that's a reason to join. I'm in it, obviously.
You're welcome.
That's another reason to join. We talk about all sorts of shit. Game news is going on. You get notified when podcasts are coming out or when we're announcing things. It is a fun time. A lot of locals and non-locals there. Meet some new people. Join the community. But guys, Casey, thank you for coming on. I've been Anthony Ragucci. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Stay nerdy.
Great time.